y'all. Looks like I'm having a problem here. Just 1 second. Just 1 second.
Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Katie Lowe, and I'd like to welcome you to Rhythm Flow Radio live stream. And today is Tuesday, and it is 5 o'clock p.m. Hey, and it's a beautiful day. And guess what? I hope you all caught the big parade. The Chicago Sky are champions. And they had the big parade on today, and they celebrated downtown. And I tell you, it was really nice.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Again.
Yeah, introduce
yourself. Thank you, everybody. And my name is Wilhelmina Wade, and I am a breast cancer survivor.
Girl, now you know you are more than a breast cancer survivor. She is a retired Chicago police officer, one of Chicago's finest. And it's such an honor to have you on the show today. You know, with all of the things that are happening in Chicago, and there are a lot of things that are going on, because number one, I'm going to bring this up. You know, our pandemic never ended. We've been in a pandemic for almost, 2 years?
Yes.
And it really has never ended. It has gone up and down and up and down and back and forth. And it has never ended. And you know what? I'm not going to beat around the bush. Let's just get right into the show. Since this pandemic has never ended, and right now we're in a crisis about being vaccinated. And since you're a retired police officer, I'd like to have your opinion on, the mayor has a mandate that all city employees, anybody that works for the city of Chicago, should be vaccinated. Now, I know that you're retired, but there was one time that you were out there on the street, on a beat. You probably got promotions and did other things, but you had to start somewhere. And I just want you to think back. If you were out there now, on the street, working a beat, and there was a mandate that said that you had to be vaccinated because of COVID, what would your stand be? How would you look at this situation? How would you feel? What are your thoughts?
I would do it because, first of all, I'm protecting myself and I'm protecting the masses because I have to go out there and serve and protect the masses. So I want to make sure that I'm protected. So if it's a mandate, I don't have any health restrictions, I don't have any religious restrictions that would prevent me from doing it, then I'm going to do it because that's a part of my job, to serve and protect. And if I can't protect myself, then how am I going to serve and protect the people safely if I don't safely take care of myself?
Okay, well, you know what? Now, I know that I guess he is the head of the union. And I know that he has, I know that he's taking a stand. And he is, in so many words, he is like telling the officers, that they should stand their own grounds in so many words. It's like, if you don't want to get the vaccine, don't get it. What is your opinion on that? Do you know that COVID is the number one killer of police officers?
Yes, COVID kills. And unfortunately, I've had 2 members in my family that made their transition because of the effects of COVID. And again, living with breast cancer, I have to be very, very particular about my health. And so I say this to the officers. Pray about it. Think in terms of how it's going to impact you as an individual, not you as a group, but you as an individual, and make your personal decision, because you have to be accountable for your personal decision that you make, not the union president. And so that's an individual choice, and whatever your choice is, just know that you have to stand by it.
Okay.
So collectively, I have no problem with being collective and supporting each other in numbers. But when it comes to something that's been so vile against the whole world, not Chicago, not the United States, but the whole world, COVID has impacted, then I think people need to be more aware and use common sense and the science on making their decisions.
Okay.
And that's my stance.
Okay, there's another thing that I mean, this is not just police officers. This is city of Chicago. And my thing is that the people that work for the city of Chicago, they come in contact with everybody. Whether
they work for the people.
Yeah,
they work for the people.
Yeah, whether it's the Department of Streets and Sands, whether it's the Park District, whether it's Meals on Wheels, whatever department, these are all departments that serve the city of Chicago. And they do come in contact with people every day. Okay? Even if you work for the school board and you're teaching the children, okay? Look like they would want to be vaccinated. Look like they would want to be protected. And as we know, COVID kills. You know, I have a scar on my arm right now, a little circle that I got. You got one too? I got mine when I was a kid. And I believe, you know, polio. You have not heard of an outbreak of polio in a long time. I have no idea what was in the vaccine when they gave it to me as a kid. I just know when I was about 5 or 6 years old, I had to get it before I could go to school.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
I have no idea what was in it then. I have no idea what was in it today. But, I mean, I did get vaccinated. But look like people, and they can look at the numbers now. They can actually look at the numbers. And they can tell that this vaccine really works. But I can't understand why we are just fighting it. I don't know if it's something that is political. I don't know if it's because she's a woman. I don't know if it's because she's an African American, and I don't want to put race in this thing, but I just can't understand why we're fighting so hard to not take the vaccine and save ourselves. I can't understand why there's so much propaganda out here, so much negative talk out here. And sometimes I wonder, as being a woman and a woman of color, I often wonder if the mayor was a man, would we have the same problem? I just wanted to put that thought out there for people to think about. Another hot topic I wanted to get your opinion on before we get into the meat of the show is the death of Colin Powell, who died from complications of COVID. Absolutely. What do you think about that? And he was a Republican. He was a Republican. And Republicans seem to take a different stand than liberals and Democrats on the vaccines. A lot of them think that I won't say all of them, because I have some friends that are Republicans that have been vaccinated, okay? And then I have some that say, they tell me that one day I'm going to wake up and I always be looking for this extra arm or leg that they said is going to be growing out of my back. And I always wake up in the morning and I go to the bathroom and I keep a mirror beside the bed because I'm looking for this third eye that they say that's going to grow out of my head.
Well, the third eye is there. They're just not aware of the energy from the third eye.
Oh, is that what it is? So what do you think about Colin Powell?
Yeah, it's just really, may he rest in peace, very powerful advocate for the American Disability Association. I've never met him in person, but he sponsors several bills in connection with the American Brain Tumor Association, which I am connected to also. And so I've always been the type of person, I don't get too much into titles. Mm-hmm. And whatever your preference is, that's your preference. I'm more so into your actions. How are your actions going to help me and others? That's more important to me than anything else. Colin Powell, he was one of many that went leaps and bounds for the American Disability Association. So I didn't care if he was Mr. Jackson. It didn't make me any different. He helped people, and that was what was important. Mm-hmm. So I still take that stance in reference to our mayor. I take that stance in reference to the president of the union. Because what people don't understand is that we're human and we're imperfect. And just like that person is there with a title, it was a person before them with that same title.
Okay.
So what makes you think that you're infallible to anything? Because you're not. And in this COVID thing, that is just so crazy to me, to even have that type of thought when you've seen the devastation that is done on the world and how it impacted Colin Powell's life. And he just made his transition. That should be a wake-up call in itself.
And another thing, the former head of the union for the Chicago Police Department, he just died not too long ago, and he died from COVID.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And I didn't find out that until I saw it on the news.
Yeah. Well, I didn't either. And as a matter of
fact, they kept that very hush hush.
Right. At the time when I think his name is it Costanza, who's over the union now? At the time when he was making the statements, telling the officers don't comply with the mayor's mandate, shortly after that, this article pops up that the past president of the union had died, and he died of COVID. And I was just blown away. Now, there's one more topic, and I want to talk about this topic. This topic, it's also about a young man, a man. He lived in Boston, and he was sitting in his car. And later on, they found that he was having a heart attack. I believe it. Let me make sure. I believe it was a heart attack. I don't want to say it was a stroke. I believe it was a heart attack. he was he was in Boston, and he was waiting. He was in his car, and they thought he was drunk, but instead of being drunk, he was actually having a stroke, and he was accosted by the police in Boston. And what they did was the man became nauseated, and so what he did was he pulled over so that he wouldn't have an accident. And at the time this happened, he was like 62 years old. And the police accused him of being drunk, and they arrested him. And they abused him. They beat him up. And they did not take him to the hospital till later. And come to find out, the man had a stroke. He had a stroke. So I wanted to ask you, because, you know, we hear about these type of incidents happening. People, and you said Colin Powell was a big advocate of the American with Disabilities Act. So you being a retired police officer, and I know I know that you all get great training while you're in training to fulfill your duty, your service to the public. I just want to know, when you get certain kind of situations, how can you tell if a person is in dire straits and, you know, they're having a medical emergency, than if it's a person that's drunk or on drugs? Like, you know, a person can be having a seizure, but a person can be on heroin and be in a nod. How can you decipher which from which?
You can't. And when I was trained,
okay,
and I've been blessed to be retired now, 10 years.
Okay.
When I was trained, it was all about observation. Observation and making sure you treat the person the way you would want to be treated. First of all, with dignity and respect. And secondly, you treat the person the same way you would want somebody to treat your mother, father, relatives, or whoever may be close to you. My observation would make sure that the citizen wasn't endangering himself. Mm-hmm. Secondly, me or anyone around us. Mm-hmm. And once you see that there's no danger, and then once I ascertain that there's no danger, and if I had some concerns, the first thing I'm going to do is get on the radio and request for a supervisor, and could possibly you send EMS, because we might have a medical situation. Even if the situation was impacted by drugs, whatever drugs, legal or illegal, that's not for us to make that determination, because you don't know how a person is reacting. Medication, food, heat, or whatever. I'm just going to just sidebar for a moment. I have a disorder that's called overload sensory. I have a sensory overload disorder.
Okay, explain that, because I have no idea what that is.
I have a sensory overload disorder, which means that my senses can literally they start firing faster than they should to my brain. Like, I can't take oscillating lights. Oscillating lights would send me in a seizure. And a lot of people didn't understand that because I was a police officer. And I'm around oscillating lights, and I was around sirens and whatever. But once I found out I had that disorder, I had to learn tools in order to protect myself when I was in that situation. And getting back to what you was talking about, the gentleman in Boston, we don't know if it's a medical emergency. We don't know. Or if it's illegal. We don't know. But my concern would be, is this guy safe? Is he doing any harm to himself? Can he do any harm to me? Mm-hmm. Can he do, if the car was immobilized and parked, then the car is not a weapon because the car can't move. If I can see his hands, if his hands were free, I can see his hands, then I know that his hands couldn't do anything. Why? Because you can use your hands as a weapon.
Okay.
But once I see that your hands are free, then I know that you're not going to do any harm to me because I can see your hands. So that's what I would do. I would do a quick observation, like, okay, let me check this out. Let me check this area out. Let me see if there's any danger. And if I had any questions or if I felt uncomfortable, the first thing I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to have my key down on my radio anyway.
Okay.
Everybody gonna heard everything. It's gonna have been recorded. So if it was any misunderstandings, they can go back and get the recording and whatnot. So that's what I would have done. And I think that's an excellent point that you are bringing up for today, because also my son, Officer Terrence Roberts, is a Chicago police officer. And he shares with me the update and training that they continuously go through. And now the police department is working more closely with the Department of Human Services in reference to mental health. Oh. Because they didn't really understand that a lot of situations that officers were encountering, that they had encountered, they literally were escalating the situation because they didn't understand that the person had a medical problem. They didn't understand that. And so they're being trained now to be made aware of body language, mm-hmm. to be made aware of verbiage, to be made aware of their gut feeling, our internal GPSs when something is not feeling right, to reach out and get another opinion, to get somebody on the scene with me. No one can say if somebody is drunk if you don't know if you've seen them drinking, because they could have been a diabetic. Oh. And diabetic going into a diabetic coma, the after effects smells like alcohol. Even some seizures.
Oh, is that what they call the sweet breath?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So those are the things that are so important to understand, because we're living in a time where we need to be aware as much as possible. Mm-hmm. You have so many people that are on the Asperger spectrum, where people have autism and everything. Those were children, now they're adults. Mm-hmm. So we need to understand when you encounter somebody that may have autism.
Okay.
That may not be, it's not that they're not listening to you, it's because they probably don't hear you, or they don't understand what you're doing and whatnot. Okay. So I feel that the city of Chicago, they're being more proactive now and not reactive. Okay. And I would truly want to see them to continue to have the training for the officer and the extended body of the police officers, the support staffs and everybody, whether you're on the street or not, to learn that being compassionate is something that you have to work on being. It's not something you can go to the grocery store and get off the shelf. And once we learn how to be compassionate toward each other, regardless of what environment we go into, it will do us all well in the long run.
All right. Really will. Okay. Miss Mina, I surely enjoy you. I thank you so much for weighing in on that. We're going to play this song, Running Away With Me. This is our artist of the month. Her name is Queen Kiana. You can find her music on most streaming apps. She is a local artist from right here in Illinois. The name of the song is Running Away With Me. And then when we come back, we are going to allow Miss Mina, Wilhelmina Wade, Chicago finest, to take us on her journey. Enjoy the music, and we will be right back. Not that one, this one. All right. That was not just my imagination. Running Away With Me by Queen Kiana. You can find that on most streaming apps. And support her. Buy the song. She is a local artist. Okay? Now that we're back, welcome back to Rhythm Flow Radio. Live stream right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. Now we're going to sit back, and Miss Mina is going to take the platform, and she's going to share part 1 of her story. And next Tuesday you can tune in and pick up part 2. Miss Mina, it's all yours.
Again, I'm so grateful to be allowed to be on this platform and to serve and to share my journey. And I just want to do a quick shout out to Tracy Shaver, who I see she popped up and she's connected with our program this evening. I'm so glad. Who's also a breast cancer survivor and one of my mentors. We have to go back to Saturday, October the 5th, 2019. 2 months before that, exactly, August, I had just had a diagnostic mammogram. And everything came back clear. No problem. Released to come back the following year for follow-up for my yearly mammogram. That Saturday, my sister and I were on our way out to run errands, and I had to change my t-shirt quickly. And so as I was changing my t-shirt, she noticed that my right nipple was inverted. And she had asked me, how long had that been like that? And I was like, it's been like that for a while now. And she's real particular about me. She's my older sister. And so she's also a breast cancer survivor, Cordia Wade Pugh. And she started checking me. And she checked my armpits, and she realized that my armpit, the right one was it was like hot. And she kept checking and massaging, and then she found a nodula that was the size of an almond. And so she said, do you hurt? Is anything hurting? And I said, no, nothing is hurting. And she said, how long has this been like this? And I said, I don't know. And she said, so you don't feel hot or anything? And I said, no. She said, well, get dressed. We're going to the emergency room. And so I said, well, let's call. Because she would pick me up, wrap me up in a minute and take me to the emergency room. I said, well, let's call the triage nurse for my breast surgeon. And we called and had given them the information. And they said, well, okay, what we need for you to do is come in Monday so we can check. So we went in that Monday, which was the 7th. And the physician assistant, she checked, and she was like, okay, I'm concerned. We got to set you up for some biopsies. And that Wednesday, on the 9th, I went in for biopsies, and the first biopsy showed the cancerous cells. The second biopsy showed it looked like it had metastasized, but she couldn't confirm that, but because of the area. And so that day we were there, they performed 12 biopsies that one day, which was Wednesday, October the 9th. Going for Friday, October the 11th, at the same time I was going through a divorce.
Oh, wow. And
my attorney called at 10:45 and said, Wilhelmina, you're divorced, and the court has ordered that you can take back your maiden name. And I was like, good, I'm glad. And she was like, okay, keep me posted on what's happening with your medical situation. I said, I will. 1 hour exactly, Northwestern called. And they had called my sister first and told her, you have to get her here as soon as possible. She has triple negative breast cancer, and it's metastasized. And it's a stage 2, a grade 3, and they grade where you are with your breast cancer. Okay. And it has spread.
Now wait a minute. Let me. I gotta ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
Were you having regular mammograms? I gotta ask that.
I have been having mammograms since I was 35 years old because I have a family history of breast cancer.
Okay.
I have an older sister, may she rest in peace, who made her transition at 42, and I have 2 aunts on my paternal side who made their transition of breast cancer, and then my sister. who just a year older than I am.
So your mass was not picked up through your mammogram.
Well, what happened is that in our family, we have a condition called fibrocystic breasts.
Mm-hmm.
We have thick breasts, and they're lumpy, and it's hard to pick up if something is normal or abnormal. So we had diagnostic mammograms and ultrasound mammograms, and even with those, they picked it up and said that it was normal. And so the nodula from my oncologist, Dr. William Gradishaw of Northwestern, he indicated that he surmised that the nodula had got caught up in some of the breast fat, and that's why they didn't catch it. And I think that really my sister probably saved my life because she was tearing up my breast examining and she probably knocked it loose or whatever when she was examining me that Saturday. Because I had never felt it. And I was doing my exams faithfully, and I had never really noticed anything unusual. And the strange thing about it is that I was having problems with my left breast. I had problems with my left breast. I had 2 surgeries on my left breast, four masks to be removed and whatnot. But I had never had any problem with the right breast.
Okay, on the left breast, was those the masks that you had removed from the left breast, were they cancerous or were they just fatty tissue?
No, they were just benign. Yeah. Yeah, they were just benign. They were like cysts.
Yeah.
They were cysts. They were just cysts and whatnot. And I was like, I can't believe this. This is just, I couldn't, it was just overwhelming to me, even to this day that we're talking about it, which I'm so blessed and grateful that you're giving me this platform. I'm just now filtering through what I went through for myself. Cause I just went on lockdown in my head. I was like, I just want to live. Let's do what we got to do so I can live. I don't want to know no particulars about it. I don't want to know no percentage. I don't want to know any of that. I just want to, what program or protocol you're going to put me on. I'll do everything you ask me to do within reason. I just want to live.
I'm just sitting here trying to take this all in, because you find out that you have breast cancer, but you also are going through a divorce.
Yes, I finalized the divorce. Yes.
Now that would be enough to just send a person, in left field.
Exactly. So then it got crazier than that a week later.
Well, what happened?
It got crazier than that. Well, I started, and I'm reading from my notes.
Okay.
From the actual
all right.
notes
Okay.
From 2019 from my doctors. Immediately they started my diagnostic test. Immediately they had to take a chest scan, and they had to take a total body imaging scan, and so we had to get all those tests done and whatnot before you even start your chemo regimen, if that was the regimen they were going to put you on. And it was the cancer was still spreading because the nodula kept growing.
Oh.
Within a month, it had grew like a half an inch from when they initially found it and confirmed the type of cancer it was. And so almost 2 weeks later, when we had everything set up, all the results came back, my bone imaging, and they made sure that my heart was strong enough that if I had to go on the chemo regime, I would be strong enough to do it. and also to set me up for my porta cat. I have a porta cat in my chest that
what
I
is
still have to this
what is a
day.
porta cat?
Okay, a porta cat is just a part of equipment that you use to that they use to put the medication in you, to put chemo in you, to draw blood and whatnot, and it's attached to one of your main arteries.
Okay.
And so that's what the porta cat is.
So is that something? So is that like? So say if a person has to have chemo or get medication, is that so that when you go back to the doctor, they don't have to put a IV?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay.
That's what that's for. Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what that's
Okay.
for.
I just wanted to know.
Yeah. No. I'm. Thank you, because it's helping me. Knowing how to articulate it. Because I have small veins.
Okay.
And because they have been compromised so much that they just completely broke down. And I made a joke with my oncologist. I said, well, thank God I wasn't shooting no drugs, because I wouldn't have lasted in the streets. And but about 22 days passed, and the insurance company called my sister. And they told my sister, they said, well, we're going to have to put the chemo regimen. No, we're going to have to put the porta cat implant on hold because your sister don't have any insurance. And so my sister said, my sister has insurance. She had good insurance. She had Blue Cross Blue Shield from the city of Chicago. And she's had it. She's a retired police officer. No, she don't have any insurance. And so we go down to benefits of the city of Chicago and find out that the former spouse had taken me off the insurance. And the last thing the judge told him the day of the divorce dissolution, do not discontinue her from the insurance. Allow her to transfer her insurance in her name so it'll be a smooth, continuous flow. And it was just crazy. It was crazy. I was like, it got very emotional with my family and me. However, I have to say, Northwestern stepped in. My oncologist stepped in, and he said, the hell with insurance. I got to start you on your protocol now. I have to start you. He said, if I don't start you now, things aren't looking good. And he explained it to my family. Mm-hmm. And so we went forth. And I got the porta cat, because you have to get it surgically put in.
Okay.
And whatnot.
Okay.
It's almost like a pacemaker.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a better understanding now. Okay.
Yeah, inside.
Okay.
And so we went forth, and I started my chemo. And I was on chemo for 5 months, twice a month for 5 months. And I rested for a month, and then I went in for breast surgery. And I elected to have a total mastectomy.
Wait. Let's back this up. You had the chemo before you had the surgery?
Yes, I had chemo first. Yes.
No, that's backwards, isn't it? Don't you have the surgery first and then the chemo?
Well, in my case, it wasn't backwards because the cancer was invasive. So they were trying to kill the cancer. Okay. It was invasive, and they was trying to kill it so it wouldn't metastasize throughout my body. And because I am also a brain tumor survivor, they were very concerned that it would metastasize into my brain.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Wait. You had a brain tumor too?
I had brain surgery in 2006 to remove a brain tumor off my frontal lobe, off my left frontal lobe, a golf ball size, and went through intensive therapy and everything. And I'm blessed right now to also be living with a brain tumor, a new one that was found during the chemo, doing the treatment, the breast cancer treatment.
Wait a minute.
It's all right.
Wait. I got the bag up. You had a brain tumor removed.
Yes.